Hey everybody, I wanted to follow up in regards to the faculty meeting today. I had mentioned creating assignments in Schoology so that your students had a submit button. This works both for digital and paper pathway. I'm going to start with the digital first. I'm going to go to one of my math courses. I'm going to first take a look at last week's math work just to give you an example. So typically the digital pathway lessons have this same structure of the outcomes, a think about it, learn about it, try it, show what you know, and additional resources. The try it typically consists of, for math, like a practice and a reteach type worksheet that's attached. So here the students are expected to download it and complete it, but there doesn't anything mentioned about turning it in. So to avoid parents from scanning it and sending it to you in an email where it kind of gets lost in your inbox, I went ahead for this week and changed my try it to assignments. So I have assignments for this week at the top, notice, and previous weeks below. That is the suggested organization from Baltimore County. So when I go now to lesson 1, you notice that this try it is not a Schoology page. It has the pencil. It's an actual Schoology assignment. So when I click here, I can see that it looks exactly the same as the other page with the same directions I just copied and pasted from the Schoology page the county created to my Schoology assignment. But over here, I have a submission already that Keegan apparently sent his in today that I can click on and I can view. Now, it takes a minute to download, so you can see that Keegan's mom or dad must have had access to a scanner, and they went ahead and printed this paper for him. And then after he was finished, he then scanned it, saved it, and submitted it through here. So I can grade it here if I would like. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I do want to show you real quick. What's really cool is that I can add a comment here regarding this work. And the reason why I'm pushing the use of the gradebook is because if I go to the gradebook now, it just helps with, again, tracking who is turning in what instead of fishing through your emails in your inbox. So here's the try it that he completed today. And if I go to his name, I can see here there's this little, so view the student's assignment submission. There's this little piece of paper that tells me he submitted something. So I either see it in my Schoology course or I see it here in the grade book that he has a submission. Again, this is just a practice grade. This doesn't really affect his current grade from quarter 3 negatively or positively, but there's also the speech bubble where I can add a comment here. So we're supposed to be providing feedback to our students. This is an excellent way to have your documented feedback. Just don't forget to click the check here in display to student. So now if you're doing the paper pathway, if you're a primary teacher, for example, what I recommend is, I'm sure you're uploading your packets as directed to Schoology. So I do that as well because I'm not sure if the 5th grade students are using paper or digital. So there's a folder here that says paper packet that corresponds to this week's work. So I'll show you how I would change this to a assignment. I have this paper packet already saved on my computer. I would go here, I would add an assignment, and then I would just call this week of April 20th math for now, just to keep it simple. Please upload after completing, whatever you want to say here. Come down here where it says attach a file. Go to where you saved that file. Again, this is that math packet, the paper pathway for this week. I can give it a due date. There's really no deadline, so I'm just going to say June. I just give it 1 point for practice, and that means it doesn't count for or against them in the grade book, but it's my tracking of who has completed what. This is important. Come down to options, and you want to make sure that this button that says comments enabled, you want to disable the comments. Otherwise, students will comment unnecessarily on the fact that they have submitted something and it's really not needed. If you have a need for it, by all means keep it on, but I typically turn it off. Go ahead and click create. So now everything is right here in the assignment. So this one I can now delete. I could come over here and delete. And now your students will have a submit button so that they can submit that paper pathway through Schoology. And then you have the tracking in the grade book instead of trying to remember who has emailed you what. I hope this helps explain how to better offer feedback and collect work from students, whether it's paper or digital pathway. Have a good night.